Hello, and welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, international leadership expert and trusted advisor. Welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm delighted that you joined me today. I want to give a big thank you to those of you listening, and here's a great big shout out to all of you listening around the world. I'm delighted and so grateful that you tuned in. I hope you're enjoying a fabulous day and that you're having a fantastic week, because you know what? In the grand song of the universe, life is very short. It's short, sweet, and very precious. So, I hope you're making a difference in your own life, because when you do, you also make a difference in someone else's life. Now, a lot of folks want to make their life count for something, and they ask me, Dr. Gloria, how do you do that? Well, it's really very simple. Very simple. You make your life count day by day, step by step, moment by moment, every single day, 365, 24/7. That's what Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count is all about. Now, you can learn more about Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website. That's gloriaburgess.com, and you can also visit me on Facebook, and that's facebook.com/Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD. And the doctor is abbreviated, so it's Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD. Now today, I want to talk with you about leadership, a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Specifically, we are going to focus on work-life balance. Today I have a very special guest, Danielle Harvey Stinson, and she's going to share a little bit about her work and her leadership journey and how she thinks about work-life balance. So who is Danielle? Well, she wears many, many hats. She's a mom, she's an avid lifelong learner, and she's a very creative soul and a trusted friend, and an amazing mentor. In a word, Danielle is an influencer, and to me, she is very inspiring. Danielle is a leader who makes a difference in her own life and in the lives of so many others throughout the world in her work at the University of Southern California. In that work, she works in alumni relations. Now, I met Danielle about 10 years ago when she was looking for a keynote speaker for USC's Women's Alumni Conference. At that time, I was seeking to expand my reach in terms of impacting more women leaders, and when I heard Danielle talk about her work at USC, she was absolutely in love with what she was doing. I mean, she was on fire, and I thought, yes, I'd love to work with this young woman who is truly passionate about her work. So, it was a perfect match. Now, I'm also a USC alum, which made it even sweeter. For all the USC folks out there like me, fight on, right? Now, as I said, USC is very lucky to have Danielle, and there she works in alumni relations, leading a diverse team of professionals. She and her staff are responsible for engaging all alumni, lifelong and worldwide, through a vast array of programs, services, and events. Worldwide, her team is responsible to and for about 500,000 people in terms of providing them with an incredible array of different programs, services, and events, including the USC's Women's Conference, the Reunion Weekend, and Alumni Leadership Conference. And knowing Danielle, it's a lot more than that. Danielle and her team are also responsible for the LGBTQ Alumni Association, industry and affinity networks, and generational groups. And she will tell us more about that during my conversation with her. As I mentioned just a few moments ago, Danielle is positively on fire, and she is committed to making an impact on the world, and in particular, making an impact to empower women leaders to transform their world. When you hear her story, you will learn why she's so passionate about making a difference, about making an impact on the world in this particular way. Now, when I met Danielle, I was struck by her enthusiasm and by her passion. But these are just a couple of her many wonderful qualities. We are truly blessed and honored to have her as one of our guests on this show. Now, Danielle has worked at USC for a little over 15 years, and her passion for teaching and lifelong learning show up in her work on a daily basis. And she has impacted so many professionals in terms of recruiting, onboarding, coaching, and mentoring. And like I said, she's actually one of my mentors as well. Danielle earned her bachelor's degree in education from USC's Rossier School of Education, and she's currently pursuing an executive master's degree in leadership from USC's Price School of Public Policy. Danielle says that, among others, her mom has had an enormous impact on her life and has shaped her vision for her work. During my conversation with her, you will hear more about her story. You will also hear about some of the people and moments that have shaped and formed Danielle as a person of influence. People and moments who have shaped and formed her as a leader, all with a particular focus of serving other leaders. In many ways, in her outlook on life and in her work, Danielle pulls together the many threads of what my own life and work are all about. Now, you've heard me talk about these threads and themes on this show, the themes of gratitude, authenticity, vulnerability, generosity, strength, passion, presence, hope, and possibility. I just love it. Two women, Danielle and me, from pretty different backgrounds, very different in age and lifestyles, yet we share so many common threads. Can I just tell you something? Danielle and I had a fabulous conversation, and I'm so excited to have this amazing leader with us today. This is going to be a marvelous podcast. You don't want to miss a single word. So put on your walking shoes, grab your earbuds, or simply relax in your favorite chair. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea or a nice cool glass of water. You are going to want to take notes today. We're going to have a great time. Okay, now before I jump into today's episode, I want to take just a moment to welcome you. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Dr. Gloria, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'd also like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining my show, or if you're joining Talk Network Radio for the very first time. Let me tell you, you are in for a real treat. I'm excited to have you listening today, and I'm deeply honored that you've allowed me to be part of your day, so you can be inspired by ideas and resources to make your life count. Today's episode is all about work-life balance, a very important topic as you develop your own identity as a leader. Good morning, Danielle. How are you doing today?
Hi, Gloria. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's such an honor and a blessing to have you on the call today. Danielle, I know that my listeners can't wait to hear what you have to share with us. So welcome, and again, thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I am looking forward to today's conversation.
Right. So, Danielle, let's begin. If you would just say a little bit about yourself, kind of tell us about you, your journey to, where you are today, and the kinds of things that you do in your current work.
Okay, sure. So I am currently the Assistant Vice President for Alumni Relations at the University of Southern California, and I have been working here for over 13 years now. And you mentioned my journey. I actually started, no shame in my game, as the assistant to the assistant of the head of the Alumni Association. And it was a funny thing that happened on the way to the Coliseum, literally, that I can share with you. But just going into what I do on a daily basis, I am responsible for alumni engagement around the world and with our various alumni constituents. So we have over 400,000 alumni that are living around the world, as I mentioned, and my task, along with several members of my staff, is to break that number down and to engage alumni on a personal level. So we will look at everything from how do alumni work to where do they live, what are some of their personal interests, and then we'll build programs around those things. So there are alumni clubs of New York. There's an industry network based around real estate. We have professional networks for women. You name it, there's probably an alumni program for it, and hopefully that speaks to those alumni. So I have a very creative job, in short, if we just want to boil it down. I get to be creative and, work with really amazing people.
Well, it sounds like this is like the perfect job for you, Danielle. You and I have known each other for, going on 7 or 8 years now, and I know that it's becoming very, very rare for people like you, professionals, to stay within an organization for, even more than 3 or 4 or 5 years. And you've been there for almost 14 years now at USC. Can you tell us a little bit more about that no shame in your game thing? Your path at USC and why you stayed there longer than the norm.
Absolutely. So I'll start with your last question first. So I've stayed at USC probably more than anything because no 2 days have been the same. And when you're a creative person, like I believe myself to be, you need that. I need that. I need that creative outlet. I need to be, thinking of things differently and in new ways, and how can we do things better. But to start at the beginning, as I was moving through my professional track here, I'm very inquisitive, I think is the best way to say it. I'm inquisitive by nature. So when I was the assistant to the assistant, that means I got loaned out to the entire staff. It was, hey, you, go make these copies, or hey, you, we need you to answer the phone, or, greet guests at the front desk. And I recognized my position in the organization. I was here to be a support and assist any and everyone who needed it. And by doing so, I actually learned a lot about our organization, about USC, in things that I didn't even know as a student. I'm also an alum, which makes the job easier sometimes. But I'm also an alum, so I already had a love and an affinity for the university. But I got to discover people and programs and things that I had no clue about as a student. So when I became the assistant to the assistant, and as I described, worked with everyone and for everyone, I just went about my business in a way that allowed me to really discover, wow, this is a bona fide profession, and not only is it something that I'm interested in doing, it's also something that I happen to be good